Hello folks, this week it's all about motorcycle walk rounds and what can go wrong in the bits that you don't see. Okay, so walk rounds are always a nightmare, and there's so much that you don't see, and so this video is about some things that you do actually don't see, which I'm going to show you. Just things like that which I would normally cut out, but I'm going to leave in on that one. And ums as well, loads and loads of ums. So I'm letting you in behind the scenes a little bit on this one. So some things that I think people might be thinking is, why do I bother going to these nice locations and not just leaving my helmet on and doing a walk around like other people do? The reason for that really is I kind of started out doing the setting the camera up on the tripod and walking around the bike purely because I was new on the scene and still am to some extent, and it just made it a bit better. People could see who I was rather than just a voice in a helmet with a camera on. So that's why I done that really. I just wanted people to know me a bit better. I always go to nice locations because it's just nicer to have a backdrop rather than be in a car park, and I'm lucky where I live that the amount of places that you can go are endless really. So that's the reason that I do my walk rounds the way I do. But the downside to that is there's a lot of downsides actually, and which you'll see shortly. Now, quite often with walk rounds I normally go to the quietest places, and I absolutely guarantee you on every single one it always becomes busy. Even places that you can drive to and it's a beauty spot or whatever, and there's absolutely no one around ever, and all of a sudden it will just become just people come out the woodwork. It's so strange, it really is. It always baffles me how that happens. Now on this one, to start with, it was the Benelli walk round. Long story short was that there was two girls who were yip yapping. They're sort of mid-20s, early 30s I would say, maybe, and they were yip yapping all the way through. Anyway, here's the first one. I think they look so much better than the little one good thing about this bike, which a lot of bikes don't have these days, is the exhaust. It's swept up. It looks so much better than having it tucked underneath it, in my opinion. I think it looks nice to have a good chunky bulky exhaust. Unbelievable. Right. Uh-oh, here we go.
The 20 plate, that's the first one I've seen.
Sorry, what's that, mate?
The 20 plate.
Yeah, it's a new one. Yeah, this bike. Right, it's lovely for, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, nice to meet you. And you. Cheers. And don't get me wrong, it's lovely that people do come over and chat, but sometimes it's just one thing after another. People come over and chat, people walk in front of the camera, even though you could be miles out of the way. So in the end of that video, I actually turned the camera around, moved the bike down another, I don't know, 10 meters or so to a different location. And funny enough, as soon as I moved the bike, the girls went off then. And yeah, it's always nice meeting people, and I never sort of, I don't dislike it, but you're just under a lot of pressure when you're doing walk around reviews. Not to mention you've got a lot to remember. You've got to make sure you hit record on the camera. There's so many things to think about, and sometimes you just want to get on with it, you know, when you've got a short amount of time to do it. It's funny actually, because quite often because people don't see it, that, you know, I speak to the dealers after I've done the reviews, and they say, "Oh, it's a great review, really, really good, and you're so fluent." They haven't got a clue. It's all the bits that you cut out that they miss, which you know, it's probably a good thing actually, isn't it? On to the next anyway. Lighting. Okay, now this is another one. So this one I'm about to show you was the DL1000 CRF1000, not the DL1000. Africa Twin, so it's the one previous to the current model, and so much work went into it. I made sure that the tide time was out for where I wanted to do the walk around, which was actually on the beach, and I wanted to shoot it so I had a backdrop like this that I'm going to show you now, in the background. It's a beautiful part of the world, and it would have been absolutely fantastic if I could have done that. The problem was at the time the sun was shining. It was sunset, and it was like an orange light that was coming through. So I didn't want the camera to pick that up too strongly. So very cleverly, I turned the bike around, and I got home, and basically it looked like this. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah. Okay, so to get on the bike isn't too bad. Yep, absolutely gutted. So luckily my brother, who is a videographer anyway, he was managed to tweak it. I tried to tweak it, I just couldn't get it right. I wasn't happy with it. Again, no one noticed. By the time he tweaked it and I uploaded it to YouTube, it was fine. No one noticed at all. But it was gutting. It's horrible when you spend a whole day doing something with your life, checking that everything is running right and working, and then you get home, plug your gear in, and it's just gutting. And this is what happened on the BMW R1250GS as well review, and it went the other way. And as you can see here, it was black. So this is the Walkround for the BMW R1250GS. To me at the time, now I could see that it wasn't as dark as what it looks in this video, but it's just obviously because the camera was picking up the brightest point, it darkened down the rest of it. Again, I learnt from that one, and in fact that's probably the second or third time this this has happened. It's just, you know, there's so much to learn with doing all this. It's really hard work, and it's a constant learning curve. But again, you know, I spent all day doing this. I had to take it for sort of 50 miles away to do the review anyway, and then you get home, plug all your gear in, and it's like that. Again, I'll put the link at the end of the video. It's worth watching the GS review if you haven't seen it already. And again, with the 1250, it was just a matter of getting a nice, decent backdrop, and it was absolutely perfect. I actually wanted to take it down on the beach, but I just thought, you know, if I if I get the thing stuck, which, you know, my luck, then it's not worth it. So, but yeah, so I wanted a perfect backdrop, and it was really nice down there. Just a bit dark under the tree, that's all. And once again, good old brother, exeter-rider's brother, dug me out the poo again, and he tweaked it. And, you know, again, I tried to tweak it, I just couldn't get it right, and I lost a lot of quality. And in the end, he tweaked it, and you know, no one actually said anything, so got away with that one as well. Okay, the sound is another problem that you can get when you're doing these walk rounds. There's a number of different ways that you can get the sound on different devices, whether it's your phone or your camera, or your GoPro even. Took the again, I'm going back to the Africa Twin again 1000, and I put my helmet on after the walk round. Whether I put it on wrong or the mic was quite loose or something, I don't know. But again, getting hold of the bikes is quite difficult, and you cannot afford anything to go wrong, because to go back to the dealer and say, oh, can I take your bike out again, is, you know, it's just not very professional. It's a bit embarrassing, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, put the helmet on, and all of a sudden the sound just cuts out. And for the rest of the review, which is actually on the way back anyway, I lost everything. I had no sound. And again, when you go home and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you think, hang on a minute, you know, you got your headphones on, you think, you know, is it the sound in my headphones gone? And then you think, no. And it is, you know, quite often. So in this case, the microphone must have unplugged or something, I don't know. It was still plugged in when I got back. It was just a technical error. But as you can see, this is it now. You'll see that I put my helmet on and then it just cuts. Right there, folks. Just the guys were really good. He lent me the bike, and basically I went back a week later on a Saturday morning and filmed it again. The problem being is that it was absolutely roasting on the second day that I went back. So I was concerned that people might see the difference in contrast from the end of the walk round to when I rode the bike off again. Again, no one noticed them and I got away with it. Also, when I had this Africa Twin, I wanted to do the walk round in a small place where I always used to do walk rounds a long time ago. Dead quiet, no one ever goes there. And so, yeah, I parked up here and started doing the walk rounds. Experience of the other DCT that I rode. Oh, why is he coming up here? From the other DCT that I... Sorry folks, I just had a lorry come in. From the other DCT... Oh. Nice, thank you. Can't believe it, can you? Somebody's got a camera out and obviously doing some sort of video and he parks right up by me. Anyway, never mind. And then somebody wants to drive through as well, you know, down through the lane, which is like, it's nothing down there, you know. I didn't quite make sense to me. You're trying to get by? Right. Ah.
Knocking that down, it looks too much.
I know, mate, I know. I'm going to keep it, I think. I'm only testing it, but yeah, it's a beaut. Yeah, you got a bike, have you?
I used to have years ago, but since I had the kids, I gave them up.
That always ruins it, doesn't it?
It always does.
What I done was I thought, right, stuff this. I'll pop up the road to another very quiet place, which is a lane just around the corner. No one ever goes there, no one parks there, there's just nothing up there. So you might get one or two vehicles, you know, driving through a day. But anyway, so I got my fail safe, so I drove up there. Today, everywhere I want to stop and do some still shots, there's lorries everywhere today. Oh, look, and there as well, my favourite spots are all be taken up. Oh dear. And finally, I'm just going to leave you with the CBR500 that I done a walk round on. And I wanted it to be in a nice place, a quiet place, of course. You always aim for quiet places. And so I went to a place just outside of Exeter called Thorverton. Again, it's not a very busy road going through. You get the odd bit here and there. But this day, everything was going on. You know, loads and loads of tractors and farm vehicles of all sorts. A dustbin lorry, then a cleaning lorry. It was just unbelievable. Every time I tried to get something done, something would, you know, somebody would say hello or whatever. Funny enough, it's where I met John Poulter, actually. And I'm glad I met him, don't get me wrong. But it was just one thing after another on that particular walk round. So I'm just going to leave you with that to finish off the video. And I'll just leave it so, you know, and play every bit that went on. Bearing in mind that I was actually stood there for an hour, okay, with all this stuff going on all the time. And okay, so this is a walk round for the Honda setback.
Got it on time, or do you want me to press the button?
No, thank you. No, it's already done, so thank you. But as I say, I can't stress how much work goes not only just doing these reviews, you know, before you go on a review and during the review and even after. It's really it's hard work. I mean, obviously I'm, you know, with my job, it's a grafting job. It is hard work, but this is doing reviews is more of a mentally challenging thing, really. There's so much going on. You've got a very tight time scale to get a lot of work done, and you're relying on your equipment as well. I mean, it takes me about an hour just to get the bag packed, batteries charged the night before, let alone actually doing it. You might be thinking, well, you know, I'm very busy in my work life as well. You know, I've got a business, so I've got 2 businesses actually. So I'm very busy on that respect. You might be saying, well, where do I find the time? Luckily, I am self-employed, so I can kind of shove my times around a little bit without letting people down, of course. And so I can sort of plan like here and there. I can have a week off and get things done then. But it is difficult, and yeah, it is hard work, you know, in a different kind of way than what the day job is. Thank you for watching. If it's the first time that you've come to Exeter-Rider channel, please drop me a subscribe. It would be great to have you and to follow me on my journey. And I will see you next week at 1 p.m. Thanks a lot. Cheers.